Oh, we have Dr. Vesna joining in. Here we are.
Woo!
And Dr. Adrian, here we are.
Ooh.
Hello.
Hello, Adrian.
Hello.
We're going to get started in just a
Hello,
second.
Adrian.
Okay, here we go. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. My name is Dr. Kevin Jarina, and we are live with Synergy Solutions, where we do a specific form of work remotely, meaning at a distance. You can get some alignment, some health, some refreshment, perhaps. And as we're shifting into this whole new reality and all the things that are going on in this world, can our body adapt and align and be resilient? Yes. And there's I would say there's the hard way and there's the easy way. And with Synergy Solutions, it definitely makes it easier. I'll just add that in there, right there. I want to welcome all the doctors. Thanks for tuning in today, everybody.
Thanks for having us.
We are alive today. I didn't know if the world was going to be here this morning when I woke up.
We're still dreaming.
We're still dreaming, yes, indeed. So, with that being said, I want to say hello, everybody in the Synergy Solutions members area, and I believe it's going live. Let me double check if that is the truth. Make sure we're going live to all the different channels. There's a lot flying around here. Excuse me if I think we are. I gotta double check one more thing. Because when I do these lives, there's a lot of moving parts and buttons. So I'd like to start off our conversation today with what's called the autonomic nervous system. This is the part, and I'll let myself take a step back, and I want each of the doctors to comment on their thoughts, their what they would say to a patient, what they the major concept, or even maybe a specific detail about the autonomic nervous system. And let's see, Adrian, I'm going to have you start today and give us a few thoughts on that, if you could.
Autonomic nervous system. Yeah, it's I always see it as a in the car. You have the pedal of acceleration and the brake. You have two branches of the this autonomic nervous system. The sympathetic could be related to the acceleration, which is makes your body metabolism go higher, so that ultimately you go on fight or flight, so you can run, you can be more active, you can be more aware, and then you have the parasympathetic, which is more the brake, where you can digest, rest, heal, sleep.
Beautiful. Yes, the gas pedal and the brake pedal, for anyone out there who wanted some clarity. So
Yeah.
yes, great analogy. I know, I want to make sure, because I'm okay with accents. Some people have a hard time hearing accents, and we each have our unique accent. So I'd like to reiterate a few things.
Accents and words and expressions. So, yeah.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Well, that's perfect, though, Adrian. That's a great conversation starter. Sasha, your thoughts, your input for people regarding the autonomic nervous system.
This is actually something, when you said that, it took me back to high school, and it was something we did when we did biology at high school. I mean, that was a long time ago, and the teacher used. She said, rather than get you confused with the word autonomic, I'd like you to think of it as automatic. It's the part of the nervous system that functions automatically outside our immediate conscious control. So that's what it reminded me of.
Well, and that's exactly what, before you joined in, I said that to George, kind of just in that patient education mode. And with that being said, a question for you, Sasha. I don't know the exact percentage, but in general, what percentage is this automatic nervous system compared to the entire
Compared to the
conscious?
conscious,
Yeah.
skeletal. I don't know.
Okay. And I'm going to make a statement that I say to patients, and anyone please correct me if I'm inaccurate or broaden the definition. Though I mention to people, I say, we've all heard we've used 10% of our brain. That's kind of like in movies and TV. Though that I equate that to the conscious. We think a thought and then we do something. That's conscious. And then I say, well, then 90% is this automatic part of our nervous system.
Yeah.
So we're using 100% of our brain all the time, but 10% is conscious, 90% is, well, automatic or
Right.
below that conscious, subconscious or unconscious even in some instances
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Vesna, your thoughts about the autonomic or I'll say the automatic nervous system.
Well, now when all important things have been said, but okay. Yes, so we don't have control of it, but somehow we can disturb it with our lifestyle. So if all is, it can be going well and in balance, but our stress and things like that can interfere, can sort of upset that balance.
And these, and perfect, and I promise you that was equally as important, if not even more important, because that deals, what your comment deals with is our day-to-day life, our physical location, the air we're breathing, the water, the things that we're consuming, the things we put on our skin, the thoughts that we think, how we go about responding to situations. This is all what we're talking about as our lifestyle interacting with our body, and then the response by our body that has that automatic response. George.
Oh boy.
Your thoughts, please.
Yes, I'll keep it brief. I could go on for hours about this. I look at the two branches of the autonomic nervous system as sort of like breathing out, breathing in, or the tide going out, tide going in. It's the body's awareness either of its external environment primarily or its internal environment primarily. So what's going on out in the world, that's the active, are there threats or the stresses, or the digest and rest, as Adrian said. And so what tends to happen in our lives, there's so much stimulus coming in that we're kind of always on the alert, and the chemicals that are associated with that, which if they hang around too long, starts to cause damage as well. And so most people are stuck in autonomic nervous system stimulation like all the time, and there's certainly ways we can measure that and we can observe the effects of that. So there's the we should be in fight or flight for maybe 7 minutes at a time, and we tend to be in there for 70 years at a time.
Wow, that's a true statement right there.
Well, it is, right? That's why we age too fast. There's a couple other bits I want to throw in there just to round this out a little bit. So when a disc is bulging, even though it's not causing pain, the discs are very richly innervated with a lot of different levels of the autonomic nervous system. So having spinal misalignments, let's say, or subluxations, putting pressure on a disc is going to it's going to cause dysautonomia. The autonomic nervous system is out of balance. It's kind of like the roots of any major disease you could come up with. Also, you said it's like beyond the reach of the conscious mind. I like that. And then I thought, what does the word autonomic, the nomic part mean? I'm thinking I got to look this up. Gnomic with a G, like knowledge. It's automatic knowledge of how to run the body.
Wow, that's profound insight right there. And I think you're accurate with that term, gnosis.
Gnomic, yeah.
Yeah, gnomic, yeah.
So it's beyond the reach of consciousness. Thank God, because our minds we could mess all sorts of things up.
Well, this is the statement I used to hear all the time. Oh, my head wouldn't be here if it wasn't attached.
Yeah, right.
That kind of thing.
That's why I wear a heavy hat, keeps it on.
Right. So this is, for some simple context here, though, and George, I love the poster behind you off to your right shoulder. with the blue body. Yeah,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
got to think of our heart, our sweat, our liver, our digestion. The spleen, pancreas, kidneys, every organ you could name. I'm thinking Jeopardy now. Any organ you could name would fall under the category of autonomic.
Yeah.
That being said, for whatever reason, I want to bring up, like, there is advanced training. Like, if someone went to a Buddhist monk temple and began the process and procedures of learning how to regulate one's own breath and the mindset, one can begin to influence the body. However, this automatic knowledge that that's such a great statement, that automatic knowledge is contained within. And when we can find balance in our environment and learn how to build that towards a positive, towards a life sustaining environment, the human body is going to flourish. I mean, when I spend too much time inside doing things like this, and then I go out in nature, and go out for a walk in the trail, or I kayak or whatever in the summertime, it's another level of existence, and it will quite delightful. And of course, the human species itself is a creature of nature. So that being said, I want to share, and the reason I'm talking about the autonomic nervous system today is I want to share this with the doctors first. Hopefully it'll all work out as I share everything. Excuse me, everybody. Let's do that. Yes. And we have this for everybody. Yes. So the science of distance healing. I found this article recently, and it's a quick blog article by this gentleman who runs, who's a CEO of Neuro Business Group. I'm not going to pronounce his name, Dr. Pillay, I believe it is. And it's older, in 2008 was the study, but he talks about a well-designed study done in 2008, examined 36 couples. In 22 of these, one of the two people were a cancer patient. So we had 22 of these, 72 had cancer. And they were measuring something called skin conductance. And this is where we get into autonomic nervous system. See, skin conductance is a measure where we can look at how the body sweats and the ability to conduct electricity. And it indicates autonomic nervous system activity. See this statement right here? Is it activated? All right. So the autonomic nervous system is what, as we just kind of talked about, it has regulation of pretty much every vital function in the human body. And so let's get down to some of the important parts here. The probability. So less than 5% is something, if less than 5% of probability is something due to chance, that means it's a really good study. And this is exactly what they found. Less than 0.09. The probability of the findings in the study was due to chance was 0.09. That's less than 1%, well below that 5% mark, which indicates that the form of remote healing done in this study was extremely effective and had high reliability, that it was not by chance. So meaning this is a real deal. If I could just bring it into some common terms there. So this is just a little bit more that left brain evidence for people out there as we continue to build this library, as I continue to find research studies and influencers out there that have done this kind of work, that we can bring for me personally, I don't know about anyone else who has studied KST or any of these type of any of these modalities of holistic healthcare. I needed some firsthand knowledge. I needed some evidence. So research and seminars became important, but also patient experiences became important. And as I had those experiences, I gained in confidence in delivering that. And patients who were participating in it gained in confidence that they were getting the benefit. And it seemed as if there was some type of momentum with that confidence and with that trust that facilitated it even further. That's my personal experience. If anyone want to comment before we move forward to the next segment about our intentions, but that was my experience. I just needed a lot of left brain data. I needed the analysis versus just the trust in it. And I think that's what brings about ideas, and we can then feather out how we can use these ideas in effective ways for people. Any thoughts, anybody right there?
Yeah, I'm in agreement with it's got to go through the left brain before it can get into the right brain, for me. And I think that it adds credibility to it because there is science behind this. We're not just making it up. So yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah. Well, I was having a conversation with somebody yesterday, and there's healing. People have been doing remote healing since the beginning of time, since the beginning of recorded history. There's evidence there, and I guess in scientific literature that would be called case studies. The accounts of a single interaction, and how many Here's a statement I learned from Pat Contempo. How many case studies does it take to prove something is accurate? And
the plural of anecdote is data.
Yeah, exactly. Beautiful. So thank you for our conversation, Doc, for everybody giving some very important concepts. And concepts are so important because they give us the foundation for everything else we start to look at. And we can look at interesting experiences we have. I call them synchronicities. You think about somebody and you see them. And this happens I know that all the doctors in the office, they think about a patient and that patient shows up real soon.
Yeah, very weird.
Isn't that awesome? But
yeah.
And before cell phones, I remember picking up the phone, and on the line with no ringing, the person I was going to call also was on that line at the same time. Like, what?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
We've all heard of mother's intuition. We've all had these people that we're really close with. You get that text message and you were just thinking about that person. It's the funnest things. And that really gets me intrigued and gets me fired up to continue to expand, where's the evidence in this and how do we measure it and how do we apply healing in this way? And there's a number of researchers, and I'm going to be, and we're going to be moving forward. I think that's a buzzer. Time is up. Thank you, Sasha. But let's continue to move forward. So in the next part here, we're going to talk about our intentions for our healing, what we're doing with today's work, and then we're actually going to do the remote distance healing work. And anyone who's in the Synergy members area has the live link to join in. If that would be the time, it would be to do that now. Otherwise, I'm going to shut down the rest of the channels. I'm going to say thank you everybody for tuning in. Go to the link in the description. And in fact, I think I have it right here. I'll just drop it right in the chat. Yes, here it is. I'll drop it right in the chat right there. And you can go to that, get access, connect to the members area, and you can be participating and contributing and also making personalized requests, things of that nature. And so that being said, I want to thank all the doctors for your contributions. Anyone out there that's interested, please, if you got some value today, hit the like button. Share this with a friend or family member that you know is interested in these type of things. Really people that are into holistic health, eating well, Reiki, yoga. These are all the stair steps to get to these higher concepts and ways of working with the self and others. So thank you for participating, and we'll be back in just a moment.